All right. Okay. I'm going to call this district superintendent to figure out what's going on. Ring, 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 ring.
Oh, it's Brian again. Mark, it's for you.
I'm busy. There's a unicorn in the back of the district office. I'm watching. I'm sorry, I can't come. Who is it?
It's Brian. I
really gotta go. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to handle this one, Faith.
I got
That's why you make the big bucks.
It takes these guys forever to answer the phone. I don't know what the problem is.
Joplin District Office. This is Faith.
Hey, I was having a problem here with my old year-end report thing, and I called the zone guy, and he said to call the DS, and I didn't know who that was, so I decided to call the district office to figure out who that was. I tell you what, I'm sick of these here synonyms that's in all these things.
Acronyms.
Yes. Yeah, acronym synonyms, same thing. The SDMI, the NYI, and all that stuff, and all these synonyms, they just drive me crazy. I got an email on the computer machine, and it said that's the last time they had the old General Assembly, it said that we needed to pray for a GS, and I was thinking, what's a GS? I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe it was like a Good Samaritan, and I didn't know why we needed one of those. I thought we really need is a General Superintendent. That's what we need. I thought that's what we ought to do. And then I get these emails, and they talk about the SDMI. I didn't know what in the world the SDMI was. I thought maybe it's like the STP. I used to put that STP oil treatment in my car and put that STP gas treatment in my car. One time I was cutting wood and just like a little bit of being done, and all I had was some of that STP gas treatment. I had an old 028 steel, and that thing had an old chisel-o-matic chain on it. That thing cut like a beaver on crack. And I didn't have no gas, so I just put a little bit of STP stuff with some mercury oil that I had. That thing sounded like Nebenrud, and I shot it when I turned it on. And I put it down at the base of an old persimmon tree. That thing jumped out of my hands and lopped off 3 acres before I get it shut down. That's what I did. Anyway, what we need to talk about Sunday school is what we really need. Instead of STP, Sunday school is what we need. And then they said something about the NMI. Now the NMI, I get into that. No more ignorance. I tell you what, I know you probably have to deal with ignorance quite a bit, but I think that's something you really should work on is no more ignorance. I'm telling you, there's so much ignorance. People don't know what we believe. They don't know anything about our ministries. Like, people don't know anything about the ONWMS. They don't know anything about missions. That's what we need. And I think we ought to have NMI, no more ignorance. That's what we need. And then they got the NYI and NYC, like the Nazarene young children and the Nazarene young infants. Those are little kids. They don't know nothing. What we need is something for the youth is what we need. That's what we need. And then on there they had the POF. I was looking on my year-end report. POF. Is that like PMS? You got a church with PMS, you got some problems. I've seen some churches like that. There's no one getting saved, and there's no one getting sanctified, and there's nobody getting baptized. What we need is professions of faith is what we need. That's what we need. You understand? You hear me? You hear me there? Huh? Oh, anyway, and then I got on there and I have to fill out my monthly stats there on the computer machine, and it looks on it. It says the YTD. Worship. I don't know what the YTD is. I thought maybe it was like the Y2K. You know, I really got stocked up for that on the old Y2K. I just now finished up eating all that rice I put up. I've had so much rice since the Y2K. I'm getting slanty-eyed eating all that stuff. I'll tell you that for sure. And then someone said I needed my worship MTD. I bought an old MTD lawnmower one time down at Bodark off the old Craigslist, and the MTD had an 8 horsepower bridge strapped on the back of a 30-inch cut. And one time I put some of that STP in that MTD, you know. I tell you what, you put STP in MTD, it's going to cut the grass ASAP. That's a fact. I turned that thing loose, cut 12 acres of brome grass in 32 seconds. That's what happened. And then they called and said, "Have you been paying your WEF?" And I said, I'm tell you what, I ain't watched WEF since Hacksaw Jim Dugan retired. That's what I'm saying. You remember old Hacksaw? You remember Hacksaw? He's that guy that, you know, walked around. He's both sides. You know, he couldn't tell if he's looking at me or you or both of us. He was something else. You know what Hacksaw was. And then some little girl called the other day. And she said, this is MNU, and we was wondering if you was paying your UMF for the MNU. I said, UMF? I said, if I ain't gonna give money to the World Wrestling, I ain't gonna give to the Ultimate Fighter neither. And I said, what in the world is an MNU? And she goes, well, you know, it's your Nazarene College in Olathe. I said, woman, I just done graduated my last kid from Mid-America Nazarene College. If they changed the name, I think somebody would have told me, and I just hung up on her right there. I was like, anyway, and then, what I did, last thing I did before I hung up, I said, NMI, woman, NMI, no more ignorance. That's what I said. And then somebody called me from NBC, wondering if I'd give a love offering to the NBC. I said, I ain't giving no bunch of left-wing liberals. I quit watching them when I got the Fox News on the satellite. Watch that bunch. I ain't giving them no money. Then somebody called me up. He sounded like Thurston Howell off of the Gilligan's Island. And he said, we was wondering if you would like to make a monetary donation to NTS. And I was thinking, what in the world is an NTS? And then I thought, well, it's a Nazarene trade school. That'd be a wonderful thing. You know, they learn how to weld and do the HVAC and working on that. Because, you know, see, all the kids at our church, you know, about half of them go to Mid-American Nazarene College, the other of them go to Tulsa Welding School. So I was thinking that'd be a good thing. We'd have Nazarenes working on people's vacuum cleaners and working on their washing machines and doing, you know, Paul was a tent maker. I think he could be a TIG welder too. That's what I was thinking right there. I thought, well, this would be a wonderful thing. Maybe they could send a serve team down and work on our appliances and maybe do some welding on things like that. And I was telling the guy about it, and he got all snippy, and he said, well, what kind of a school do you think we're on? And I said, well, it sounds like I think you're welding skilled. He just got mad and hung up. Well, I went to the church and I told them how happy I was that the Nazarenes was going to have a Nazarene trade school or Nazarene tech school, and all my crowd, all of our people got excited and raised $5,000. And I called headquarters and we couldn't find any place like that, and so we just gave it to the seminary. I didn't know what else to do with it. Anyway, well, I guess you can't help me because I'd probably go to talk to Chris. I think he's the one that usually has to help me. And so anyway, well, I'm just going to let you go then, all right, Faith?
All right, thanks.
Okay, bye.